Anyhow, this is called PicMonkey, and the website for this thing is picmonkey.com. And this is a photo editing program that doesn't require any kind of registration, and it's actually free. So let me give you a little quick tour on how this works. So this is the homepage of PicMonkey. And on it, you can do a bunch of different things like you would in Photoshop Elements or Photoshop. And you can do such things as editing your photos or creating a collage. So let's get started. When you go onto this edit a photo area right here, you can click to upload. So you can upload a photo from wherever file you have on your computer, or you can just drag your photo here. So for this video, I'm going to just undo my iPhoto, and I'm going to drag this picture of Stitch right into this little box right here. And then I'm going to minimize this, and it's going to show up in a second. So here's the picture of Stitch that I took and brought it over into this program. Now on this program, on the left side are all of your icons that shows you what you can do in this thing. So the very first one is this little one that looks like atoms, and it's called Auto Adjust. And in it, you can crop your photo, rotate your photo, change the exposure on it, add some colors. Like say for instance, I wanted to have something pop out in this photo. I could easily just kind of add color to the doors if that's what I wanted. I can actually sharpen images, or I can resize the photo altogether. So that's the very first thing you can do with this. The next is called effects. Now, the effects are different things. And for me, I would take this effects icon as actually adding filters to it. So much like Instagram, you can add filters to your picture to either soften it or bring different depth to it, or even make it look a little bit vintage. Now let me explain something to you. While this program is a free online program, if you look at right here, this Intrepid or this Urbane and this Tranquil, they have these little crowns on them. The crowns means the royal treatment, and so what it is if you purchase or you add money to your account here, you can actually utilize the things with the little crowns on it. So that's one thing. So now the effects, like I said, it has a bunch of different things. You know, sepia tones. You can do darken the edges. You can do black and white. You can frost the edges. A whole bunch of different things. If you like, again, if you have the royal feature, you could use the Polaroid film look. You can add that look to your pictures. Okay, so that's what the effects are. Then you can also do touch-ups. Now there's a bunch of different touch-ups that you can do, and the thing I like about this is that touch-ups within this program actually seems to be very easy, much easier than when I was learning Photoshop Elements. And I will in the future do some Photoshop Elements basic stuff that I learned on my own. But in this, you can fix skin. So here you go, blemishes. If you have that royal thing, you can airbrush, you can remove wrinkles, you can reduce shine, you can add some blush on cheeks, you can actually spray tan if somebody's looking a little pasty. And then for the mouth, the basic feature would be teeth whitening, or you can add lip tint if you have the royal treatment. Then again, here for eyes, the basic thing you can do here is do the red eye removal. If you have the royal feature, again, you can tint the eyes, you can change the color of someone's eyes, you can make their eyelashes look a little bit more, look a little bit more like more eyelashes, or you can brighten their eyes. Then down here, it has features that you can actually do for the rest of the body. Nip tuck, you can actually make them a little slimmer, add highlights to their hair, or clone the image altogether. So that would be the touch-up feature. Now this is what I want to talk about. This is particularly good for those of us who do Project Life. And this is adding text to your picture. Now I've shown in other videos a way to add text via apps, but for some of you who do not have maybe a Mac, or you don't have a iPhone or an Android, and you don't have access to those applications, then this is a great way to actually have the same opportunity by just getting online, and it's free again. So here is the text thing. And in it, you can see, again, you have the crowns that show if you wanted to utilize this font, then you need to actually have the royal feature. But there are tons of free fonts that they offer in their text thingy. And I'm just going to kind of scroll down really quickly. For this picture, I am going to keep it simple. So I'm going to go back up here, and I think I'm just going to utilize, let's see, maybe I'll do like quicksand. And here we go, and I'm highlighted that, and I'm going to add text, and it'll bring up a pop-up box in just a second. So here is the pop-up box, and this is where you're going to add the text, okay? So you see the cross arrows right here. This allows you to move your text box wherever you want on the picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to center it on my picture. Now with this, when the two arrows, one arrow is kind of, it makes that little round circle right here. What that is that allows you to actually, and let me show you, tilt your text, okay? And for this one, I don't know, maybe I might want to tilt it a little, and I'm going to move it just a smidge. And let me, in fact, even make the box just a little bigger too. Oh, not that big. If you see these the arrows again, you can also either shorten it or lengthen the actual text box. So that's a text box in and of itself. Now, if you see on the side here, there is all of the things that you can do within that text box. So you can change the color of your text, which I am going to do because this one, since my background is black, I want the text to stand out. So I'm going to go ahead and utilize a white color. I can, right here, it's going to be, whether you're fading your text or how much opacity you want in your text. So I'm going to keep it to 0. You can either bold it, italicize it, make it to the left, center, or right, and then the size as well, okay? And you can just delete it altogether. But let me show you. So I have already typed up something because I didn't want to mess up, but let me go ahead and just cut and paste and put it here. Let's see. Duplicate text. So where did it go? Oh, no, maybe not. Okay. Let's do that again. Copy. Now, hopefully it'll let me do it. Here we go, paste. So I double clicked it and then I'm going to paste that. Now it's rather big. So I think I'm going to bring the size down a little bit. Let's see. And let me change the size of this box. Now sometimes the only thing about this program that I will say can be a little bit annoying is the fact that the program sometimes takes a little bit to catch up with what you've done. But I think that's a small price to pay for something free. So okay, here we go again. Let me just make this smaller and move it down. And maybe I don't want it to have that tilt, so I'm going to re-tilt it back. Oopsies, that's too much. Okay, I want it right there. And I'm going to move it over to the side a little bit more. So let me explain to you about this picture because, I always share stories, hilarious stories that's happening around here in my house. So this is a picture of Stitch, and what it is my husband is a germaphobe, and he doesn't like Stitch to be on our bed because he says, he goes outside and he runs around in the grass, and he might be tumbling around in dog poop or whatever the case may be, and he's dirty, so he doesn't want him on our bed. But this past weekend, my husband wasn't feeling so hot, and he was knocked out, and so I'm a very light sleeper. My husband was passed out, and our bed, normally you can't really tell because we have a Tempur-Pedic, which is really good as far as like movement of the other person. But for some reason, I felt something on our bed. like a little tapping, you know. So when I had turned over to look, here was Stitch laying on our bed next to my husband, and my husband had no clue he was sleeping, which was funny. So like, see this line right here? That's actually my husband's leg, and Stitch is like butted up right against my husband, and he's like passed out, and he has no clue. And the only reason why Stitch is looking like this is because I turned around and got my camera, my phone, to take a picture of it, and so he's like, ah, mom's taking a picture of me. So yeah, so let's see, where is the rest of my, why did it not put the rest of my text? That's kind of annoying. Okay, so let's see, let me add the rest of this text right here. So let me copy and paste that again. Copy and paste. Here we go. Okay, so that's like humongous. That's too humongous for my photo. So I'm bringing it down again. And I am resizing the box, and I'm just pushing it out on both sides so that way it doesn't look crazy, and I'm going to move it up again. So now I have it like I like. So I click off and I can see exactly what the text is going to look like on the picture, which is really great, 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 great. And I usually like to keep my texting aligned on the left side, and then keep the right ragged is what they call it. And I kind of learned that from taking a class by Kathy Zelski. She did a type font class on big picture class, and that's what she recommends, and I happen to like it. So when I journal now, I'm gonna do all of this aligned to the left and then keep the right ragged. But here's the actual picture, and if you see, now it has this really great text on it, and I don't have to worry about it. So all I'm going to do at this point is, I like it, I'm going to keep it. I can add some things if I wanted to. If you guys want it, you can play around. There's some overlays here, which are like arrows. Again, if you have the royal feature, you can have different kinds of arrows. It also has different types of frames. So here's a Polaroid frame. You can add frames, you know, to your picture, much like Instagram. Again, frames. You can also add texture to your picture, which I'm not going to do. And then they have features, which again, in the homepage, you guys saw that they had the vampires and whatnot. So I'm just going to keep it simple like this. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to save it to my computer. And then I can go ahead and print it out and put it into my project life. So I am just sharing with you what I thought was a little bit of goodness for those of you, like I said, who don't have Photoshop Elements, are not don't have access to an iPhone app or an Android app, but are still doing Project Life and want to have these features, want to be able to do these things without having to add a stamp on your photos. Because let me tell you also, when some of the photos that I printed out and I actually use StazOn to stamp on my photos still doesn't come out 100% the way I like them to be, which can be a little bit frustrating. So I do like to add text onto my photo, onto the printed photo already. So again, just sharing this little thing, which is a free program. And in a second, I'm going to pull it up. Now see, it already saved it, and it says masterpiece saved. And I'm going to look on my... Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to look on my desktop. I'm going to pull this up, and it's going to show you guys my final product, which I can then go ahead and print out to whatever size that I require for my project life. So here it is. Look, stitch number 2. This is the exact thing that we did. So it says, Daddy doesn't like Stitch to be on our bed, but this morning Stitch snuggled up on Daddy's side without Daddy knowing. Too funny. I just have to put a space there. So I'm not going to keep this one because I need to add something, which I can just go right back in and do. And it's not a problem at all. So here we go. Let me just, there we go. I'll add that. Click off, and I'm going to resave again. And let's see. Oopsies. Let me save the photo again. Yep, save that to my desktop. Yep, replace it because I don't want to keep the original one that I messed up on. And then here we go, my masterpiece is saved. Now if I pull that picture up again, it's going to take a little bit. there it is with my actual changes. This is the exact picture that I just did and I showed you guys. So I wanted to show, oh, and there is the culprit right now. Speaking of the devil, there's Stitch. Shh, stop. Yeah, it's going crazy. There's a man walking his dog outside. Heaven forbid anybody walk in front of our house. Mr. Stitch goes wild. Okay, so anyhow, back to my tutorial. This is what I wanted to share with you all. I hope you guys can utilize this. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I will be glad to answer your questions. And I appreciate you all watching. So take care. Talk to you guys later. Bye.